margish, in my best spoken Hebrew. And he says to me, Reb Leibel, gebalta da bracha. Did you get the bracha? And I said, the bracha? Achalti kvar lifnei shatayim. I already ate 2 hours ago. I need lo ochel od levarech. And he said, lo bracha al ochel. Not the bracha for the food. He said, I'm translating for you. Okay. He says, Abracha. He says to me, like, I'm supposed to know what he's talking about. And I said, oh, those Osher Yatzar posters that we have in our office that we distribute all over the world. You've seen those ones with the drawings around the outside. They have them in Farsi and in Spanish and in Russian and all the languages. I said, Yesh Harbe Od Sham. There's many there at the place that we're going to. Einano Tzurichim Od Asher Yatzar. He said, lo. Baracha. He says to me, Baracha. And I'm looking at him, totally mystified. What does he want from me? He says, Abracha mi ishtecha. The bracha from your wife. And he says, how? He says, how can a person, he starts quoting me statement after statement from the sages, that that the blessing comes into the house only in the merit of the wife. And he quotes me another statement. And I've heard these statements and I've seen them before and I've had them highlighted in books at home, farm at home. But he's hitting me one after the other like a machine gun. And I'm listening and I'm going, okay. I hear. I told him, but Rabbi Cohen, we're late. He says, we'll wait. Okay? Suddenly he's speaking English. He said, the bracha. We're speaking there for 7 minutes trying to understand each other. And finally, I'm going back up the house. I climb the hill like a sheep, and I go and I knock on the door at my house. That's what you do before you enter your own house. I knock on the door, and I open up the door and I come in. There's a split level house with a railing up above, and suddenly my kids come running out and they say, Ima, Abba came back home. I left 7 minutes ago, and my wife comes out with twins and wrapped in a towel, just got out of the bath, and she said, what's going on? And I'm standing on the landing looking up at her. And I said, I forgot the bracha. And my wife said, I think we ate about 2.5 hours ago. I don't think you're allowed to make an after bracha anymore. And I said, no, Ima, the bracha. And she says, those Asher Yatzar posters, we got like boxes, take whatever your language you want on there. Farsi, Chinese, we got them all. Whatever you want to take, just take them and go. You were in a hurry before, you were late. And I said, no, Ima, she's not getting it, The bracha from you. And she's looking at me like, have you been drinking? And I said, no. She said, did you lose your job? I told her, I'm self-employed. That's hard. And I said, Ima, I said, ain't a bracha shui b'tok beiso shalado mele b'schus ishto. The blessing comes into the house, and blessing means money, my friends. only in the merit of the wife. How can I be successful in giving a lecture or doing anything, any kind of business deal or anything, unless I get your blessing? And my wife says to me, who am I, the Lubavitcher Rebbe? What do you want from me? I said, Ima, don't torture me. I said, I need your bracha. I need your bracha, Ima. So she sees that I'm serious. I'm not going anywhere at this point. And so she thinks, her eyes close, they roll way in the back of her head. And she said, first of all, you should have kvitzas aderech. You should have a quick way to get there. Kvitzas aderech coming home. You should get home quickly. You should find a marv sometime when you're out there. And while you're there, she said, the words should come out of your heart, enter into the heart and the minds of the people who are there, and should make a difference in their lives and in the lives of all the Jewish people. Should make a difference in the whole world. I said, Amen. Whoa. And I turned back to her and I said, Ima, I hope that the kids magically fall asleep and the homework gets done and the house gets cleaned up and you get a chance to read your favorite book and talk to your best friend on the phone. And she goes, Amen. Good luck to me without you, without any help. So I said, okay. And I leave. And, we went and gave a lecture, and it was a stupendous, it was an amazing lecture that night. And I felt the wind in my sails. And I realized that, wow, and I came home later on, I told the Ima, the lecture, because of your bracha, made such a huge difference. It really did. And because of that small piece of advice that I got from Rabbi Cohn, it came out that I don't go anywhere, and my kids don't go anywhere. I'll pull over to the side of the road, I'm about to go into a lecture, I'm about to give a class, I'm about to start something, and I say, Ima, Tani bracha, give me the bracha. I need the bracha. I can't do anything unless I get the blessing from my wife. And the beauty of it is that we're always together, even if we're working in different realms and different domains, we're doing things together even when we're separate, and it's beautiful. And my children, if they're going to go for a test, or they're going for a basketball game, or whatever it is, they come and they bow their head and they said, Abba, Ima, give me the bracha. The bracha became a contagion of giving brachas and giving encouragement to each other in the house. It set a fire, a beautiful fire in the home. Beautiful. And it even went so far that one of the famous lecturers in the Jewish world, who used to come to my lectures and sit and take notes, he handed me a tape one day. And in this tape, he's saying that he heard from me, that this guy, that if you get a bracha from your wife, it's going to make a big difference. It put winds in your sails. So he said he started following that practice, and he used to come to my lectures, and now my merit became that I would come and substitute for him once in a while. He took off like a rocket ship. And he made a difference in the whole world, and he said it all became because he started getting a bracha from his wife. And he became so influential that I even came to him and I said, maybe I can get a bracha from your wife too? And he said, no, Rebbe Leibel, you got to get a bracha from your wife, I get the bracha from my wife. So it really is a very powerful and an amazing thing to be done, is to get that bracha, but I just want to give one little caveat, one little Surgeon General warning over here. I don't think it was too many months later, and we were practicing it. It was going great. And then one night, as Chatay Ani Maskir Hayom, I set a world record. I was home for about 8 minutes that I needed to turn around and just to get out and to give a lecture some other place. I think I was expecting a ride that night also. And in those 8 minutes that I was home, I got 10 kids crying, you know? They said, don't draw with a crayon on the wall. Put that down. I told you never leave. And if you ever, and they all started running to Ima. You know, I just did the worst thing, the quick parenting thing. Too quick, too aggressive, and everybody's crying, Ima. And then I hear the honk outside. Bum, 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 bum. And I said, oh, Ima, can with all the kids around her, I said, Ima, can you give me the bracha? And she asked me, she says, what are you lecturing on tonight? I said, Chinuch Yeladim, educating children. She says, my bracha is that they should see right through you. I said, that's the bracha? She goes, that's the bracha for tonight, yeah? So my simple birchas hediyah, my simple blessing to everybody over here, and my eitzah that I'm sharing, that I've shared from Rabbi Simcha Cohen. I have to meet up with him. I haven't seen him since then. But my simple is to get the blessing and to give the blessing. Everybody needs encouragement. Encourage each other as much as you possibly can. But make it even into a formal thing to get that bracha. And it's going to make a difference in your life. You'll see immediate results in Parnasa and in Shalom Bayis and all good things. But again, not only is it important to give the bracha and to get the bracha, but most importantly is to be worthy of the bracha. So when you get that bracha, it's going to make a big difference to you and to your entire family and to all the Jewish people. Thank you very much for the time together.
Thank you, Rabbi Lam. I just want to share a short idea with everyone tonight that I think you'll find meaningful. Last week when I was at this conference, Rabbi Akiva Tatz, Rabbi Dr. Akiva Tatz, spoke about the topic of happiness. And this is a topic that's close to my heart. I'm actually working on a book, the early stages of a book about this topic. And Rabbi Lam is actually, Rabbi Tatz actually just wrote a book about Shabbos and holidays. It's going to be in the bookstores in the next few weeks, and it's about 50 pages regarding the topic of happiness. So I just want to share with you a brief idea that he said and how I think it relates to all of us. So he made a very interesting observation. And he said that in life, we strive to accomplish a goal. We're excited to accomplish something. If you tell a person all that effort that you're putting in, but you're not going to get to your result, you're not going to accomplish it. Let's say you're building a house, or a family, or whatever you're doing, you're not going to get to that goal. The person will lose their motivation. Because the motivation is because we are striving to accomplish something. We as human beings, we're extremely motivated. And it actually gives us joy to overcome gravity, so to speak, to overcome our challenges, to work against all odds and accomplish amazing things. So if you were told that you're not going to reach your destination, you would lose hope and lose that desire to move forward. But the interesting thing is that when you get to that destination, the real enjoyment is the process that led you up to there. All the steps that brought you to that final point is really where you get the satisfaction. So it's a little bit interesting, right? Our enjoyment, our happiness is because we're reaching towards a goal. But ultimately, when we reach the goal, it was the process and the effort and the steps that we took to get to that goal that really we look back at and say, wow, that was meaningful. And he made a very interesting point also. He said that it says in the time of Mashiach and Olam Haba, when the world to come, it's brought down that the trees will taste like the fruit. The actual tree will have the same taste as the fruit of that tree. And he made a point and he said, the message is that when we get to the final destination, which is what Olam Haba is about, we'll realize that the process is the result. And that's why the tree will taste like the fruit itself. Because the process itself, the tree is like the process to bring out the fruit, is also the result. And I would like to bring this message into our relationships. In our lives, we often get frustrated by situations that go on. Children that are not acting exactly the way we think they should, educational issues, financial issues, all different problems and issues that could come up in our life. But I believe that we need to keep our mind not just on the ultimate goal, but also realize that the process is really so important as well. And I would like to use the term embrace the process. Because in that process, in those actions, in dealing with those struggles, is really where we build our greatest character. And ultimately, when we reach the destination, we're going to look back at all those steps and realize that those steps is where the real joy came from. So yes, it's amazing to have goals. And I know many of you in this room, and those who I don't know, I look forward to getting to know. And there's a lot of aspiration in this room. There's a lot of goals. There's a lot of dreams. And it's amazing to have dreams. It's amazing to have unbelievable goals of building and creating and doing. But it's also important to remember that there's a process. And in that process is really where the true simcha, the true joy lies in the process. You know, we say in the pasuk, we say, Ivdu et Hashem b'simcha. Tehillim, we say, serve Hashem with joy. In the pasuk in Parashas Kisavo, it says, Tachas asher lo avad Hashem lokecha lo avadata. You didn't serve God with joy. And Rabbi Tass pointed out, because simcha, joy, is an avoda. It's a work. It's a work in order to be able to appreciate the process. And if we can learn to appreciate the process, we can bring joy into everything that we're doing in life. There's actually some very interesting studies that came out that people look forward, the anticipation of a vacation is actually more pleasurable than the vacation itself. Okay? So somebody made an argument once, don't go on the vacation. Just look forward to going and don't go. Because once you go on the vacation, it often doesn't meet what your expectations were, right? But I think that it's good to have aspirations. It's good to have goals. It's good to look forward to amazing things. But at the same time, We need to appreciate the process, whether it's a relationship issue that we're dealing with or any kind of issue that we're dealing with. That process is, by infusing joy into that process, we actually can really appreciate our life in a whole different level. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you, Rabbi Rudenberg. Is everybody having a good time? Okay, we're continuing the program. I really would like to, it's my honor and pleasure to introduce our entertainment for the evening. Please give your attention to David Rosenfeld. Round of applause. Okay, David will be ready in a few minutes.
Praise your God, praise Hashem from the depths of your heart. And I know that from here it will grow like it did before. Look around and you want it again for you.
When David Roosevelt is finished, we're going to be having an amazing dessert prepared for you from the Cafe Muscat, so please don't go anywhere. I also want to be able to thank our DJ Amnon, so much. Thank you so much for being here. You're always supporting us. And thank you so much for the music.
Dancing like no one's around. Feet on the ground, head to the sky. Now we're not wasting our time.
Before we get started, could everyone please just take a moment and grab something small that you can hide in one hand? If you look around in your pockets, you might find chapstick, you might find lipstick, you might find a Listerine, you might find a bobby pin on your head. You probably have two and can spare one for a moment. If you have a crumpled up tissue, literally, anything that's small that you can hide in one hand. I'm going to give everyone just a second to find something. If, for some reason, you don't have anything small that you can hide in one hand, please raise your hand. I'll come over and I'll give you a tissue. Just let me know if anyone doesn't have anything. We'll help you out right now. Looks like everyone has. Just wave your hand if you're desperate to find something. Yes, you over there. Let me help you out. Here you go. Who raised their hand over there? There was someone here who was looking for something. You need something right over here. That's fine too. That sticker is great. If someone needs anything, everyone has. You have something. A bobby pin, a kippah clip. It looks like no one's waving their hands. This is the best audience I've had. Usually there's at least 2 or 3 people who you need something. Yeah, their watch even. You can just hold a watch in your hand, probably. But here you go. I'm going to pass that to you. Oh, terrible at that. You need something as well. Yeah, I know. So with someone, here we go. Okay, everyone has something in their hand that they can hide. That's perfect. That means we're going to start right now. My name is David Rosenfeld, and I'm a magician and mentalist. And mentalism is just tricks of the mind. It's experiments of psychological manipulation. My job is to try to influence and predict human behavior. Do you think you're all predictable? Someone's like 100%. Just ask my wife. Everyone, please, stand up. So I studied magic and psychology and the power of the perfectly placed lie. And I'll be using all of those skills with you now. I'll have to be dishonest with you sometimes, but always honest about my dishonesty. So, grab something small like a coin or kippah clip and hold it behind your back at the fingertips of both hands. Anything small held behind your back at the fingertips of both hands. In a moment, I will ask you to bring your hands out in front of you like this, concealing the object in either hand. Well, not yet, but I applaud your enthusiasm over there. Don't decide which hand you're going to put the object into yet, because I will attempt to influence this decision for you. So that for now, just keep it behind the back at the fingertips. It feels like a 50-50 choice. Nevertheless, you can either put it on this side, the left. Yes, that is not my left, that is your left. Or the other side. It's completely up to you. So when you do this in a moment, you will take your hands out in such a way that the hand on one side will be empty and the hand that's left will have the object, the coin, the thing in it. So think about it, but make a conscious decision. And when you are ready now, please bring out your closed hands. Let's see them all out there. Yes, excellent. Everyone's participating. I love it. 2 rounds. This first round tells me what sort of audience you are. I tell you I'm going to try to influence your decision. And I'm counting on most of you listening out for any attempt on my part to do that, and then do the opposite. So the moment I slightly overemphasize the word left, as I did, I'm counting on most of you putting it in your right. And if it isn't your right hand, please sit down. 2 rounds, I said 2 rounds. It's a nice number of you, but I have another round to go. If you are still holding the object, I've lost everyone. If you are still holding the object, you are the challengers, the people most likely to catch me out, or just the people not paying attention. Who knows? But if you're still holding the object, hands behind your back, mix it up a few times. You are the challengers, the people most likely to catch me out. And when you are ready, the remaining of you left, please bring out your closed hands. This second round, you should be feeling pride, like you want to catch me out when I said, you are the challengers. And when you may have done that, particularly when I make this gesture and say, make up your mind, you may have put it back in the same hand, back in your left hand, and if it isn't your left hand, please sit down. Look at that. In only 2 rounds, most of you, and I just said it was only 2 rounds, most of you are out. And this is just to show you how easily influenced we can all be. In only 2 rounds, most of you are out. If you were still holding the object, congratulations. You are the people I would have the most difficulty to work with. Probably for anyone to work with. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone take a seat except for you and join me on stage. You can put that down. You don't want to join me? No, but would you join me? Please, come on up. I need participants. Don't be shy. I won't embarrass anyone, I promise. But please join me and make some noise for my participant as she comes up to the stage. And you can drop whatever was in your hand just as you come on up. What is your name? Sarah? Sarah, right over here on my left is perfect. Sarah, we're going to play a game together that is very similar to what you just experienced, Sarah. I have this game piece from a Bananagrams. It's a perfect Shabbos game if you've never heard of Bananagrams. The 2 tiles, letter tiles that I took together are B and S. Now, this is a family show, but of course you know what BS stands for, yes? Would you hold out your hand just like this? And I'd like you to please close your hand, turn to me, and I want you to put both hands behind your back. You're going to decide in a moment which hand it's going in, and then you're going to take your hands out like this. If I guess correctly, 1 time, that's a 50-50 chance, and no one will be impressed. I know that. But if I guess correctly 4 times in a row, that is a 6.25% chance, and I'm hoping to get that with you. You're going to get that poker face, I know. I also, by the way, have a prediction. A prediction inside this envelope. I'll leave right there. And a bunch of random words we'll get to in a moment. Sarah, are you ready? All right, take your hands out just like this. Both hands closed, just like this. Excellent. Sarah, this is what this list is about. If it's in this hand, I want you to think of a boy. This is a couple's event. It should be easy to think of one particular boy. But if it's in this hand, I want you to think of a girl. But I want you to get this really in your mind. Lift your hands just a tiny bit. Perfect. And focus in your mind, if it's in this hand, you're only thinking of a boy, and if it's in that hand, you're thinking of a girl. Do that now in your mind. Focus, concentrate. Very nice. You are thinking of a boy. Open up that hand. Yes, there it is. Terrific. Please put it behind your back. It's 50-50 the first time. I know that, but I appreciate the kindness behind your back. And now you're going to decide which hand it's going in. I'll tell you something about yourself I just learned. I put it in your right hand when I gave it to you. You then switched it. That tells me you're a consistent person, and consistent people will now usually switch it back. But you know that I know that you know that I know that, so you might not want to do it, Sarah. It's a completely free choice. Hands out just like this. She's not taking any chances. And separate your hands just a tiny bit, just like this. Excellent. Sarah, this time, we have these words right here. If it's in this hand, I want you to think of a red shirt, but really visualize a red shirt, only if it's in this hand. If it's in the other hand, I want you to think of a black shirt. Now, we're both wearing black shirts. It should be so easy for you to see a black... Perfect, you're thinking of a red shirt. Open up that hand. Yes, there it is, 2 times. Now we should be getting somewhere. All right, hands behind your back. Sarah, you are doing great. You're keeping that poker face. You're playing great. You're playing this BS game well. Whenever you're ready, I want you to take your hands out just like this. Is the 3rd time. It gets a little trickier now because what you're doing right now is you're thinking, how do I catch him out? I was too consistent, so maybe I should switch it or maybe I should keep it. But who would put it in the same hand 3 times? What are you, crazy? I get it. I get the feeling. So Sarah, whenever you're ready, hands out just like this. Terrific. Sarah, this time, if it is in that same hand, but only if it's in this hand, I want you to focus on blue shorts. The weather has been crazy, right? I mean, you could literally wear shorts today, but blue shorts in your mind. If it's in the other hand, the hand that would have required you to switch hands, I want you to think of green shorts. Do that now, and without saying anything, focus on that image of green shorts or blue. Excellent, there it is. Blue shorts, open up that hand. Let me see, just show it. Okay, perfect, yeah, you're not being polite. All right, hands behind your back, Sarah. Now, Sarah, I can tell you this. When I do this with a gentleman, at this point, they always put it in their back pocket, inevitably. And half of you are thinking of, I wish I were up there, I'd put it in my back pocket. But Sarah, you're not gonna do that. You're gonna play fair, and if you don't have a back pocket, it's even better. But Sarah, before you decide which hand to put it in, since this is the 6.25% chance one, this is when they're all gonna clap for you in a moment, I want you to listen to these words carefully. I want you to put it in the hand that just feels right, and the hand that's left will be empty. I'm kidding, Sarah, that's just a joke. Whenever you're ready, hands out, it's a free choice. Hands out just like this. Sarah's gonna be switching hands like 17 times before she decides. It's as random as it can be, isn't it? It just seems completely random. Like you're trying to catch me out, but it's a strange feeling you're experiencing. All right, hands out, Sarah, right now, let's do it. Perfect. This time, if it is in this hand, which would mean that you kept it in the same hand 4 times, but only if it's in this hand, I want you to think of a bicycle. If it's in this hand, the hand that means you switched it, I want you to think of a skateboard and really visualize it. You can see that skateboard going, or you can see that bicycle turning, whatever it is, but only if it's in this hand are you thinking of a skateboard. Open up that hand. There it is, 4 times in a row. Would you hold this for everyone to see just for a second? Because you, Sarah, ended up thinking of a boy with a red shirt, blue shorts, and a skateboard. And it was a completely free choice of which hand to put it in. But I said I had a prediction inside this envelope. Inside this envelope is nothing else except for a boy with a red